Hello everyone and welcome to lab number 14 in this course. And now we are going to do the not so stubby area and the totally not so stubby area lab. Okay, we have just seen how we configure the stub and the totally stub. And now in this lab we are going to do the same work. We have to go through the points here, and I'm gonna use the same lab scenario that I was working on before. And for this reason, let me just put it here. Okay, so at this moment all areas are default, so there is no any stub area or whatsoever configured on this diagram. To be sure that all is okay, we can go to router number 5, and from here we can check the routes. Here you can see that the router number 5 now is getting all the routes, the exterior, the inter area and the intra area, of course. Okay, and we can ping from here to the bridge interface of RIP, and we have no problem at all. Okay, so we're going to use the same scenario, and all areas have default types, so we've checked it and that's fine. Now we need to make area 1 as a totally not so stubby area. Okay, and why area 1? Okay, remember when I was explaining in the theory of the area types, I said that when you want to use NSSA or totally NSSA, you need to have an ASPR. Like in this case, router 3 is connected to RIP, which is another routing protocol, and also connected to OSPF. Then in this case, we can do the NSSA or the totally NSSA on area 0. Just a small review to remember that NSSA and the totally NSSA, both of them, they block the external route 5 and they make them 7 in the area where you apply this NSSA or the totally NSSA. And then the ABR over here, he will remake them on type number 5. Okay, so in this way we need to make the configuration on router 2 and on router 3 for the area 1, because those two routers are inside area 1. Okay, point number 2, make area 1 as a totally not so stubby area. So we are going to make it now and check if we still see the type number 3 and type number 5, which we shouldn't be able to see them. And then we should have type number 7 as external route. So let's have a look. So we go to router 2 and we go from routing, OSPF, areas, and area number 1. They ask us to do totally not so stubby area. Again, when we make it NSSA, without we put inject summary LSA, so when we make it like this, then it is totally not so stubby area. So this is on router 2. But before I do that, let's first check router 3, and then we go to routing, OSPF. Let's check here what we have. Routes, we have the intra area, we have the external routes, we can see them, we have the inter areas. And now when we want to apply the totally NSSA, then the inter area and the external area should not be shown anymore. Okay, let's do that. We go to areas, here, area, and then from here we can go to type and we say NSSA, and we take out this. When you make it like this, then it is totally not so stubby area. Okay, and I click OK. We will see directly that it will lose neighborship with router 2 because router 2 is still set as a default area type. Okay, so we have to go now to router 2, and then we go also to area 1, and we put it not so stubby area, and without injecting also the summary LSA, and then I will say OK. So let's go now to router 3 and we check. We go to routing OSPF, and yes, we can see the type number 7 are shown here, so that's fine. And if we go to IP route, for example, we can see that router 3, actually he can reach this network on RIP because it's connected to RIP. So router 3 is an ASBR, so that means he has one interface connected to RIP. That's why he can reach this network via RIP. Okay, so he reached also here a default route, and then the rest are connected. Okay, if we now go to a router, for example, we go to router 2. All right, we can go to the routes here, and you can see here he has put the RIP network, the external routes, he put them as NSSA. Okay, so NSSA exterior. All right, so we can see directly that they are in router 2. Okay, now I just want also to check on router 5, because we said that the ABR in this case, well, let me just put this. So we said that over here, the external routes are type number 7 over here on that area, but we said that on the ABR, he will make them again as type number 5. So I will go to router 5 and I will check over there if the external routes are indeed on LSA type number 5. So I will go to router 5 and we go over here. We can see that indeed we don't have any NSA over here. So they are external routes and they are type number 5. Okay, so that means that the ABR, which is in this case router number 2, has made them to again external route type number 5. Before I go to the other points, I just want to check something with you. That before I told you that the backbone area cannot be at any type of stops, like not a stop, not a totally stop, not an NSSA, and not totally NSSA. Just to show you that if we go to router 1, which is inside the backbone area, router 1, and if we go to routing and we go to OSPF, and I go to the backbone area, and I will try to say, well, I want the backbone area, area 0, to be a stop, and once I click OK, directly you can see you get an error from MikroTik saying couldn't change OSPF area backbone. Backbone area cannot be made a stop or NSSA. Okay, so this is just to show you that in case you do that, then this will not work. Okay, I will close this now and we go back to our lab. We check. All right, we already jumped one point. So first, make area 1. We made it totally not so stubby area. Actually, we didn't check if it shows type number 3. So let me go again there to router 3. This is router 3 over here. And then we go to routing, OSPF. And yeah, we don't see LSA type number 3. It only has the summary network over here. Okay, so if we go to routes here, we don't see inter areas. The only inter area it has is the default route that it has put for us to be able to reach to the inter areas, means the networks from other OSPF areas. Okay. So, do you still see LSA type 3? No, we don't. And LSA type 5 also we don't. And we only show that there is type number 7, NSSA type number 7. Now, also check on router 5. Does he see the external routes as LSA type 7? No, he sees them as LSA type 5. Now, the last step we need to do, we have to do now the not so stubby area, not the totally not so stubby area. Remember the difference? On the not so stubby area, it will block only the type 5, but not type 3, which is for the inter routes. Okay, and type 5 will be made as type 7 inside the not so stubby area. So if I go now to router 3 again, that is router 3. Okay, we can see that the inter areas are not shown. So they made a summary address for it. Okay, so I want to now change the area here from area 1, from totally not so stubby area, and I want to make it not so stubby area. You can only do that also on the ASPR. So here, if I show you the picture again, we can apply that change, okay, on this router, on the ASPR. It's better to make it also on the other side. Okay, I will apply it on both sides. I will make it NSSA on both sides. Okay. So I go again now to router 3 and then inject summary. So that means makes it NSSA. And we shall wait a little bit and we should be able to start getting the inter areas as well. Okay, let me go also to router 2. That is router 2. I will go to OSPF. And from here we can go to areas and then area 1. And inject. Okay, let's wait a little bit and then we check. We go to router 3 now. And here we go. You can see router 3 has started showing me the inter routes. Those are the LSA type 3 here. Summary networks, okay? In addition, he will keep blocking for me the type 5, okay, the external routes, which are in this case those two networks here. Okay, if we go now to routes, you can see indeed that the inter areas has started showing for me inside the route. Before it was only a default route, now it shows me those, but those two external routes here will be as LSA type 7, okay? So now we can go to, for example, here IP route, and we can see that those are really the inter areas, okay? If we go to router 2, and also we go to here, we can as well see the intra area and the inter areas, okay? And here are the LSAs, and here we can see the type number 7. This is what we wanted to do in this lab. So we've made it as an NSSA. Do you see the type number 3? Yes. And the external routes also, yes, we see them. They are on type 7. And finally, if we want to go again to router number 5, we can do that. We can first check for the OSPF here routing. Okay, we see here that those are type number 5 here. Here are the routes. We can see them, type number 5. And if we want, we can ping from here to, because this has to also go from area 2 to area 0 to area 1 to RIP. So if our communication is good, then you can get a reply, and he's getting a reply. Okay, so I think that we already have also done with this lab number 14 in this course. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope now the not so stubby area and the totally not so stubby area is also more clear for you. Thanks a lot, and I see you in the upcoming video.